Have you ever felt like you hit 40 and suddenly anxiety became your uninvited roommate? One day, you're managing life just fine, and the next, your heart is pounding for no apparent reason. You're wide awake at 3 a.m. worrying about everything and nothing, and that calm, collected person you used to be feels like a distant memory. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know you are absolutely not alone, and you're not imagining things. There are real, biological reasons why anxiety can ramp up after 40, especially for women. But the good news? There are also powerful science-backed ways to reclaim your calm. Stick with me, because today we're diving deep into the why, and, most importantly, the what to do about it. So, what's really going on in our bodies? Let's talk about the big 3 biological shifts that can trigger this wave of anxiety. First up, and this is a major one, is hormonal fluctuation. Think of your hormones as the body's intricate messaging system. For decades, they've been operating on a relatively predictable schedule. But as we enter our late 30s and 40s, that system starts to go a bit haywire. This period, known as perimenopause, can start a full decade before menopause itself. Let's start with cortisol, our primary stress hormone. Ideally, cortisol should be highest in the morning to get us going, and then gradually taper off throughout the day. However, with the hormonal shifts of midlife, this rhythm can get disrupted. You might find your cortisol levels spiking at night, which is why you're suddenly having those wide-awake, heart-racing moments in the middle of the night. It feels like your body's fight-or-flight switch is stuck in the on position. This chronic elevation of cortisol doesn't just make you feel wired and tired, it actively fuels feelings of anxiety and overwhelm. Next, let's look at estrogen. Estrogen is so much more than a reproductive hormone. It has a huge impact on our brain chemistry. It helps to regulate neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which are our feel-good chemicals. When estrogen levels start to fluctuate and decline, it's like turning down the volume on these mood-stabilizing chemicals. This can lead to a general sense of unease, mood swings, and a lower threshold for stress, making you feel more anxious and less resilient than you used to. It's a direct biochemical change that makes it harder to maintain a sense of well-being. And it's not just about estrogen. Testosterone, which both men and women have, also plays a role in confidence, mood, and energy levels. As it declines, it can contribute to feelings of lethargy and a lack of motivation, which can sometimes manifest as a form of anxiety, a worry about not being able to keep up or a loss of your former vitality. For men, this decline, sometimes called andropause, can similarly increase irritability and anxiety. So, you see, this hormonal roller coaster is a key reason why you might feel like you're fighting a battle inside your own body. The second major biological change is happening directly within our brains. Our brains are not static. They change throughout our lives. As we age, there can be a natural decline in certain neurotransmitters, like GABA, which is essentially the brain's natural brake pedal. GABA's job is to calm the nervous system and prevent our brain activity from going into overdrive. When GABA levels are lower, it's like driving a car with less effective brakes. You have more excitatory brain activity, leading to racing thoughts, restlessness, and that classic feeling of generalized anxiety. This isn't a personal failing. It's a neurological shift that requires a new set of tools to manage. So we have hormonal chaos and shifts in our brain chemistry. The third piece of this puzzle is the cumulative effect of life stress. By the time we reach our 40s, we've accumulated responsibilities. We might be juggling demanding careers, caring for aging parents, raising teenagers, and dealing with financial pressures. This is often called the sandwich generation, for a reason. We're squeezed from all sides. This chronic psychological stress takes a physical toll, keeping our cortisol levels high and further depleting our brain's resources for managing anxiety. It's a perfect storm where biological changes meet peak life stressors, creating a fertile ground for anxiety to thrive. It's no wonder so many of us feel overwhelmed. Okay, that might sound a bit daunting, but I promise you, knowledge is power. Understanding why this is happening is the first step toward taking back control. Now, let's get to the really good part. The practical, science-backed strategies you can use to find relief naturally. And these aren't just fluffy suggestions. They are methods proven to work with your body's biology. First, let's address the hormonal imbalance with nutrition. What you eat has a profound impact on your hormones and neurotransmitters. Focus on a diet rich in whole foods. Think colorful vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates. Healthy fats, like those found in avocados, nuts, seeds, and olive oil, are the building blocks for your hormones. Your body literally cannot produce them without these fats. Protein is also crucial. It helps stabilize your blood sugar, and when your blood sugar is on a roller coaster, so are your moods and anxiety levels. Aim for protein with every meal. Finally, phytoestrogens, which are plant-based compounds that mimic estrogen in the body, can be incredibly helpful. Foods like flax seeds, chickpeas, and organic soy can gently help to buffer the effects of declining estrogen, easing some of the anxiety associated with it. Next up is targeted supplementation. While it's always best to talk to a doctor before starting new supplements, some have been extensively studied for anxiety relief. Many of us are deficient in magnesium, and a good quality magnesium glycinate supplement before bed can work wonders for promoting relaxation and improving sleep. Another powerful tool is adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha. Adaptogens are incredible because they help your body adapt to stress. Ashwagandha has been shown in numerous studies to help lower cortisol levels, reducing that feeling of being constantly on edge. Now, let's talk about movement. I'm not talking about punishing, high-intensity workouts that can actually raise cortisol levels. I'm talking about mindful movement. Activities like yoga, tai chi, and even just regular walking in nature are fantastic. Why? They do a few things. First, they gently increase those feel-good endorphins. Second, they help to process and release stress hormones from your system. And third, practices like yoga incorporate deep breathing, which brings us to our next point, the power of the breath. This might be the most accessible and immediate tool you have. When you're anxious, your breathing becomes shallow and rapid. You can manually override this stress response by intentionally slowing down your breath. Try this right now. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. This is called box breathing or physiological sigh. This longer exhale stimulates the vagus nerve, which is the main nerve of your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest system. It sends a direct signal to your brain saying, "It's safe to calm down." Practicing this for just a few minutes a day can retrain your nervous system to be less reactive. Finally, prioritize sleep. I know, when you have anxiety, sleep feels impossible, but it creates a vicious cycle. Poor sleep disrupts your hormones and makes anxiety worse, which then makes it even harder to sleep. We have to break this cycle. Create a non-negotiable wind-down routine. An hour before bed, turn off all screens. The blue light messes with your melatonin production, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. Take a warm bath with Epsom salts, which are a great source of magnesium. Read a physical book. Listen to a calming podcast or a guided meditation. Make your bedroom a cool, dark, quiet sanctuary. Protecting your sleep is one of the most powerful anti-anxiety strategies you can implement. To sum it all up, your increased anxiety after 40 isn't in your head. It's a real response to significant biological shifts in your hormones and brain chemistry, compounded by the stresses of midlife. But you are not powerless. By supporting your body with a nutrient-dense diet, considering targeted supplements like magnesium and ashwagandha, incorporating mindful movement, Mastering your breath and fiercely protecting your sleep, you can work with your biology, not against it. You can soothe your nervous system and reclaim your sense of calm. Start small. Pick one thing from this list to focus on this week. Small, consistent actions build powerful new habits that will carry you through this transition and into a calmer, more centered future. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content on navigating health and wellness in midlife.